Hi, Leah here from Clarence Media, and today I'm having a chat to Heather Smith. Heather is running for the Australian Federation Party in the upcoming federal election. So thank you for taking the time to have a chat with us today.
Thanks very much for being interested, Leah.
I have written down a few questions so that I don't forget anything. So firstly, would you like to tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yep.
And what made you decide to get into politics?
Yeah, okay, so I'm a beef producer from up near Woodinbong on the far northern part of the electorate, up near Queensland.
That is right up the top, isn't it?
Yeah, and it's been interesting discovering that the electorate went all the way down to Coffs Harbour. So it's a 3-hour drive for me from the bottom of the electorate. So it's been great going and having a look around at the different communities. So in terms of why I'm running this time, I think I've been increasingly frustrated with the political situation in Australia and feeling that we as a community are disconnected from our government, or that our government is disconnected from us. And so I just sort of decided that, enough's enough. It won't change unless we stand up and be counted, and I can't do anything different at the polling booth on polling day if I don't have someone to vote for that I believed in.
Yep.
So this is very much a grassroots decision to try and get the people's voice back on the floor of Parliament. And that's why I'm standing with the Federation Party, because they're very, very dedicated to bringing the people's voice back to government in Australia.
Okay. And so was the process easy, not coming from a political background, when you decided that you were going to run? Was it an easy process, or...?
It was probably easy. It was confronting to make the decision. I won't lie about that, and I try not to think too deeply about just how big this could be if I am honoured with the role of being the MP for the district. It is a massive role, and it's a great honour to take on. The process of nominating was reasonably straightforward, but then getting out and doing the campaign is something else differently, because we're doing it from a very grassroots base, and that changes the way we campaign compared to, say, the majors who've got a lot of resources to work with.
And what has been the reaction of your community to... What's been the response to you running?
I think there's a lot of relief out there that people are going to have choice at the polling booth this time. We've got 10 candidates standing page, which is just an incredible number of candidates for people to send a message with their vote. What they do with their 1, 2 and 3 preferences. They can really place that on issues that are important to them. So, this year it's very much about government overreach has been a problem for a lot of people. It's interfered with small business, it's interfered with border closures, it's interfered with health decisions. So that a lot of people have felt compromised. It's interfered with career and employment and education decisions. So that's a big reason of why I'm standing. I feel like Australians can run their own lives quite capably and make their own decisions, and I would really like to see government step back out of some of those really household and family issues that they've intruded on the last few years.
Okay. Sounds like you've given it a lot of thought.
I'm an independent person, and I suppose someone trying to tell me that I can't live my life independently was a struggle, and to realise that government's gone so far as to make nurses and policemen and teachers and everyone step out of the workforce when they wouldn't have otherwise chosen to do so. It's a real cost to the community.
Now, the next question's probably not necessarily political, but what would you say is one of your greatest achievements?
I'm not one for big achievements. I suppose what I do differently to a lot of people is I'm a solo cattle producer, and so I've worked mostly in male-dominated worlds and taken on a goal of running a cattle business that is not common amongst women. There's a lot of women in agriculture. There's not so many women trying to do that on their own as a first-generation producer. So that's been a life journey of mine, is building up my own property and my own cattle herd.
Fantastic. And in politics, past or present, who do you admire in politics?
It's a bit of a complex question. I haven't paid a lot of attention over the years, but I have to tip my hat to Tanya Davies, who's an MP in the New South Wales Parliament at the moment. I think she's done an awesome job of being a voice for her community down there in Western Sydney. And also, I think Senator Gerard Rennick, who's a Queensland senator, has done an amazing job in the federal parliament of trying to crack open debate in the federal parliament in a respectful and fact-based way. He's got a lot of respect for his role and a lot of respect for his colleagues, but he still stands his ground to speak up on matters he feels need to be heard.
Okay, great. Thank you. Okay, so within your party, within the Australian Federation Party, what would be one of your favourite policies that's along the way of their line of thinking?
Yeah. Oh, look, there's a lot as an agriculturalist.
I know it's difficult to narrow it down to one, but maybe one or two things that you like.
So as an agriculturalist, it is their commitment to agriculture, rural and regions that I was relieved to see. They're really invested in that. But the key one that made me decide, yes, I'll stand for the Australian Federation Party was the pact that I must make with my community to vote against my own party policy if it's not in the best interest of my community. So if my electorate says to me, we disagree with your party's policy, I must vote in a way that is aligned with my electorate and my voters. And that is a true people's voice on the floor of Parliament.
That should be how it should be.
It is actually...
They've elected you or whoever they've elected to be their voice. So really they should be voting in line, shouldn't they?
Absolutely. That was the foundation laid in the Australian Constitution at Federation, was that the people elected a member of their community to take their voice to the floor of Parliament.
Yep. Okay, fantastic. So what is your vision for Page?
Oh, there's so much. I mean, I really want to, at a federal level, I really want to reclaim government and Parliament for the people of Australia, for the everyday citizen of Australia. And I really think this is a critical election in which we can do that. We've got some really unique circumstances here, and this will go down as one of the most interesting elections in Australian history. Yep. I've got no doubt of that. Page electorate, there is so much latent opportunity here, and we just need government at all levels to pay attention to what's possible here. There's so many, it's a laundry list of things that are possible for Page.
There is a bit, isn't there?
Absolutely.
And so what do you think? Again, it's probably could be a bit of a laundry list, but what would you say is one of the biggest challenges for the people of Page?
The obvious one at the moment is the recovery from the flood damage up further north, and I know we've got flood affected people down here on the Clarence floodplain as well. So that's going to be a huge rebuild effort over the next little while. We've also got a lot of social challenges at the moment in terms of our cost of living, because we're one of the lower income electorates in the nation, and we're facing inflation, we're facing interest rate rises, and we really need to be aware of making sure that those people on minimal financial resources in the community have safety nets and have capacity to shift their circumstances.
Yep. So what do you think the future of Page looks like if you're elected?
Very, very consultative process. So
I did hear you mentioning the town hall to somebody earlier. So do you want to expand on that?
Yeah, I think it's another thing I love about the Australian Federation Party. It's a really democratic, back to the people position where I as a candidate must promise to return to my electorate every month, run an open agenda town hall meeting and report back on what's been happening in Parliament that's relevant to the people of Page, but also hear back from the people of Page about how they feel about those things and any other issues that they feel I need to be taking up to the floor of Parliament. And if 151 MPs were doing that around Australia over the last decade, that would have been so powerful in terms of us being able to be truly heard in Parliament.
And would probably also lead to some very uncomfortable town halls for some of them.
Yeah, and I don't imagine I'd be excused from that. The whole point is that I, as the MP, or any MP, is accountable to their electorate.
So if people want to find out more about you or the Australian Federation Party or their policies, where do they go for that?
Yep, so we've got the website, the ozfedparty.com.au, I think it is, website, where you can find all our policies and our our pack, a 6-point community pact. You can look up our candidates there, but I also have a Facebook page, just Heather Smith Candidate for Page, and I post up little bits and pieces there as well about personal aspects that we can bring to it. So
Okay. Is there anything else you'd like to add?
Look, I really want to encourage voters to get to know the minor party candidates this year. We've got 10 candidates, 6 of them are from minor parties, and that's going to be a new experience for a lot of voters. And the preference system really lets you be loud and proud about what's important. And this is a critical election. I really want people to take the time to be to do that bit of research and cast a vote in a way that really means something to them.
Yep. Yeah. No, it's it should be an interesting one, and that's partly why we're doing the interviews, is because there are candidates from all over. As you said, it's a really quite a large electorate, and there's candidates from all over the electorate that most of the electorate have never met. And it's a great chance to talk to you guys, and you guys can get your message out there, and people can get to know you as a person and a candidate.
And we really, really appreciate the support in enabling us to have that public conversation. It's so critical when we're making decisions about the leadership of the country.
Anyway, thank you for your time, and good luck on the 21st.
Beautiful. Thank you very much, Leah.
Thank you.
Bye.